The RecycAl project has put together researchers and industry and made possible for the first time the production of a high-quality cast aluminium component from recycled materials. Until now, the recycling of aluminium resulted only in the production of low-quality products because of high levels of iron contamination. As a result, most of the recyclable aluminium from the European Union is exported. With the research developed within RecycAl, it was possible to reduce the residual iron content of recycled aluminium enough to produce a prototype automotive exhaust bracket, which passed all quality tests usually applied to this type of product. An innovative technology was used to create a new type of high-quality recycled aluminium. The technology is based on a novel physical melt conditioning process, which shears the melt using an innovative shearing device that can be applied to both batch and continuous metal processing. By adopting the high shear process, HSP, aluminium scrap was transformed into a low-cost and low-carbon feedstock for casting alloys.
Essentially, in our previous process, what we were doing is applying high shear forces, and they break up naturally occurring oxide films which float around inside the liquid metal. So all liquid metals have these oxide films floating around, and because they act as films, they essentially act as little cracks, and that makes the material very brittle. And so by breaking those oxide films up, you break them into little particles. Those particles are much more benign and they don't act as cracks, and that improves the quality of the metal. We've also found that those particles can act as nucleating agents for the solidification process. So in essence, we form much finer structures.
A prototype component made using RecycAl material was cast and tested. The results showed the reduced Fe content of RecycAl material met the component specification, as did the tensile strength and hardness properties. The RecycAl alloy was very castable and did not need flux, grain refiners or melt degassing required by some other casting alloys currently used.
We could conceive a system where a small foundry could have a small setup arrangement for the process and use the process themselves to buy in scrap and produce good quality liquid metal for their own uses on a small scale, and certainly that would be suitable for small foundries. Or for those larger foundries that buy in ingot to remelt, this sort of process could be used in secondary metal suppliers.
The results in this project are really something very new. For the first time, the aluminium industry may have the ability to process aluminium scrap from an end-of-life source in an economical way to produce material which will compete with primary aluminium. So it's transformational for the industry once it realizes what's been achieved within this project.
The consortium is a well-balanced mix of industrial partners and SME partners with key roles in the recycling industry, from the management of the aluminium fraction in urban solid waste to the manufacturers of aluminium parts. Top-level research partners with complementary expertise and a previous tracking record of successful partnerships were responsible for a big part of the scientific development and technical research. RecycAl aims to transform the European Union aluminium metal cycle from one that is resource-intensive to one that is sustainable. Currently, the production of this metal is based on the use of primary aluminium, which requires high levels of energy and is carbon-intensive. Because of these high levels of consumption and pollution, the EU production of aluminium is rapidly declining.
The most important impact that this project could generate in the European market is related to the fact that we can improve the use of secondary aluminium instead of the primary one. This fact generates the saving in terms of energy, environmental impact and economical cost.
With the new and much more sustainable technology developed by RecycAl, there will be a major impact on the EU aluminium recycling industry, leading to the consolidation of the primary and secondary industry sectors.